All right. I think maybe we can start and people will start to join in. Well, welcome everyone. This is Lead and Thrive. It's a series of episodes. We're starting today with emotional intelligence. It's actually our first webinar in Lead and Thrive series. Today we are starting with the foundation of the emotional intelligence. We will be exploring what is emotional intelligence is truly means, what it includes, and how it impacts both personal and professional lives. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and then about my wonderful colleague here. So basically, I am Koussay Hammoudeh. I am a leadership and executive coach, MHS EQI 2.0 assessor. Yuliia, up to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Koussay. Hello, everyone. My name is Yuliia Shyn, and I am an ICF accredited leadership development coach, as well as my colleague Koussay, certified assessor in emotional intelligence competences using the EQI 2.0. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Leah. So basically, today we will be going into the definition of the emotional intelligence. We will talk about the components, which is basically the EQI 2.0 framework. Then we will discuss a little bit about the emotional intelligence in life, where between home and work. And we will have some Q&As at the end so we can hear from you. Today is going to be an interactive webinar. So we hope that you can participate. Our aim is to walk you through with hopefully an added value knowledge. We'll begin with the basics, diving into science and exploring how AI exploring shapes actually different aspects of our lives. There will be, as I said, interactive activities as the session go. So the first thing I would ask, um, what comes to mind when you first heard about emotional intelligence?
Yeah. Right now you are seeing the QR code, so I would like to invite everyone scan the QR code or go to mentimeter.com and enter the code. So and in one word share like what comes to your mind when you hear about emotional intelligence. So I will keep the code for a few seconds more just to make sure that everyone scans so that I can open the Mentimeter and see your inputs. Just a few seconds more.
So basically, we will be looking into what is the first word that comes to mind when you think about emotional intelligence. Anything you think of, it can be useful. Just put the words in
Yeah, I'm already
uh,
seeing that some words are
on
coming
the
in.
screens. Yeah,
Let's have a look at them.
beautiful. Human empathy, understanding.
Understanding, right? If you haven't scanned the QR code, you can still go to menti.com and use the code that you see on the screen. Okay, we see balance. Yes, I like the balance. Support others. Yeah, like that.
That's very nice. Supporting others. Yeah.
What comes to my mind, or where when I first heard the term emotional intelligence, it comes to my mind emotions. So
Yes. When I thought about it, I didn't see how the first time I heard about it, I didn't know how would that be linked with business. I thought this is a luxury thing or something have to be only about personal outside the maybe in relations or at home, but I didn't really know that this can be related to workplace.
Yeah, same here. I wasn't sure, like I was more looking at the emotional intelligence, how it can improve my personal life, like with friends, with family, but really it is the same. I didn't expect that we can actually use it to be more effective at work. So, right, we have more communication. Yeah.
Very nice. So maybe we can dig deeper into this. But before doing that, how about we check on everyone and see how do you feel today? So in the chat box, if you would like to use an emoji that will represent how are you feeling now.
Alternatively, either drop in the chat or you can also, I've just opened the poll. You can
Yeah.
add and your emoji that represents your emotional state in the poll. So let's see what we have. I would say that I would pick that the stars of fire, you know, these emojis with a spark. I think that would represent because, in fact, we were planning this webinar with Koussay in December. Today is end of January, and I'm super excited that we made it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we've been working on this, and today is the day. So yeah, very nice with really wonderful people here. All
Okay.
right.
So let's me and oh,
So now, looking into this, if we need to start with the first thing, I would uh, I would ask you, Yulia, maybe we need to start, or what is emotional intelligence
yeah.
from a deeper perspective, maybe a little bit from science, so we can take them through our journey today.
Right. So, first of all, like those who drop in the with emojis, I wasn't able to open the results of the quiz. I'm so sorry for that, but I hope that whoever dropped in the poll like sad emojis, I hope, or sleepy emojis, I hope you won't feel the time, and by the end of the session, you will feel like a little bit energized and uplifted. So those who are added like happy emojis and that's great to have you here. Some happy vibes. So coming back to the what emotional intelligence is. So I'm really pleasantly impressed that everyone like added some components of what emotional intelligence is. Indeed, it's about humans, about communication, about the support as well. Those are components that we go through further into today's session, and to have also some to add to the definitions that we have multiple types of intelligence that humans may have. So if we go to Google and say like types of intelligence, we will find more than 8. There is a theory of multiple intelligence that we have. We have the intellectual intelligence, right? We have also the logical intelligence, music intelligence, even the natural intelligence, and there is a linguistic intelligence. So there are so many, and emotional intelligence is one of them. So you are saying the definition is based on the bar on. This is one of the professors and the scientists who did an amazing contribution into the studying the emotional intelligence in humans. And so the definition using the bar on is the set of emotional and social skills that we gain through socialization and then influence the way we, first of all, we perceive ourselves and how we express and show up in the world. How we also use those skills in developing and maintaining the relationship with others, how we cope with challenges, and also how we use this information about emotions in an effective and a meaningful way. So that's the definition.
Wonderful. So basically, AI is not about just being emotional, right?
Yeah.
So it's about being emotionally smart. It's about the foundation of how we manage ourselves and connect with others.
Exactly. So it's more about the skills rather than the emotions. So it's all about how we are using this information in different type of context. Yeah.
That would take us then, why is it important? Why does it matter?
Yeah, exactly. So we are talking about being emotionally intelligent, but why do we even talk about it, bringing up, right? So multiple studies were done and studying how emotional intelligence or being highly emotionally intelligent impact different areas of life. And some of them, they first of all, like we have a higher quality relationships with others, whether at work, with friends, and with our partners. When we have a higher emotional intelligence, then people with higher emotional intelligence, they also perform better and more effective at a workplace, not only in leadership, but also overall, even in the sales. As well as emotional intelligence, highly emotionally intelligent leaders or people, they also find it more effective they are able to make decisions more effectively even under the stress, pressure, crisis, and challenging and changing environment. So those are the aspects that impact whether or not you are having the emotional intelligence developed or less developed, less stretched. And some of the organizations, there are multiple of organizations, and if you are interested in, we are happy to share more case studies done by other organizations implementing or studying, applying the emotional intelligence assessments and development in the leadership and the workspace and higher education as well. So some of that I found fascinating is American Express. Don't know like if anyone has this credit card, American Amex. So in America, they gathered the 50 leaders. They did the assessment using EQI 2.0, and then they identified the development areas and their strengths, and posed this program, leadership development program. Those leaders were promoted, and all of them they aligned and agreed that this type of assessment and raising their awareness about the blind spots and also their strengths in emotional intelligence competences, which once again we will cover later in the session. They help them to get promoted and get to the next level in their career. One more is CLC is a well-known training center for the leadership development, and they decided they looked at over 300 of senior managers and who were having some challenges, I would say, in their roles, and they decided to implement the emotional intelligence assessment and make the development program based on this assessment. And they also split different categories of the leaders based on the high performing, mid performing, low performing. And they found out that 8 of the competences were predicting the high performing leaders. Some of them were the self-awareness, stress tolerance, and empathy, which would be surprising. So yeah, and that these type of the findings, it helped them to improve their further hiring and the development of the future leaders in the organization.
So basically, the impact here, if we need just to summarize it in some areas, so it's It's about personal relationships. It's all about team dynamics, leadership effectiveness, and stress management, right? And usually, emotional intelligence is a stronger predictor of success than IQ in many roles. People with higher emotional intelligence report a greater well-being. They have actually and perform better in jobs. They have better satisfaction and as well a greater well-being. Now, thinking about a time when emotions either helped or hindered the situation, emotional intelligence allow us to turn emotions into assets than rather having it as an obstacle, right? When we look at the module, what we see in front of us here now, this is MHS EQI 2.0 module. Basically, it's five components or divided components where it will show different areas of emotions. But before looking into this, you see on the screen you have a pool. If you can quickly answer that, how would you feel about identifying your emotions, or for example, remaining calm under pressure? If you take a moment and just quickly answer these, that will give us a little bit of data here so we can work around. So,
Yeah.
two questions. How would you identify your emotions, and how do you feel about stress?
How do you, by the way, find it easy to identify emotions, Koussay?
Somehow, yeah. Maybe when I started with the my report, when I read it, it was very difficult to express emotions. And then as I become aware of my emotional intelligence and the five areas that we will delve into in a few, that give me some awareness. And then, being aware is always the first step in development.
Yeah, that's actually great. It helps to visualize the where you are. And yeah, when I first saw my assessment and the report, it resonated so much and it explained to me so much my choices and reactions. It's so well. So I'm seeing here quite many responses, and I'm glad to see for first of all, like more than the half are able to identify the emotions, and more than almost a half are able to remain calm under pressure. So what do you think about that, Koussay?
Oh, that's very nice. Then we have a good audience with a balanced emotional intelligence. Let us see then the areas, and as we dig deeper, maybe they will rethink about what they just said. So, looking into the module that we're seeing in front of us, as I said, this is EQI 2.0 from MHS. So, it goes around five components: self-perception, self-expression, interpersonal, decision making, and then stress management. And as you see, this is some sort of a wheel. Now, under each one of these, there are some sub-competencies which we will be looking into in a few. But before digging deeper into that, I wanted to take a note on the silver cycle, the outer cycle, as you see, where you see three things: emotion and social function, well-being, and performance. Now, the emotional intelligence, when it is balanced, it does affect in these three areas immediately. So we see in development of emotional intelligence an immediate notice on well-being, an immediate notice on a performance, and an immediate notice on emotion and social function, which is very important. Now, each of these components provide a deeper understanding of how we recognize, express, and manage emotions. Uh, and let us take a closer look into each one area onto these, starting from the self-perception.
Yeah, it will be even more interesting and mm, easier to grasp the idea as we go further and deeper one by one. So bear with us. And this is the first one, the self-perception, as I mentioned. So self-perception, as remember about the definition, is comes first about how we perceive ourselves. And this component includes three competencies. The first one is self-regard, self-actualization, and emotional self-awareness. So self-regard is our relationship with self. So it will include that understanding what I know, what I don't know. I understand my highest strengths and the lowest strengths, and I'm okay with that. So I respect myself and I accept myself as the entire package. So this is how it looks like, the balanced self-regard. Self-actualization, it is about the intrinsic motivation. It is having the inner drive to pursue the goals, to pursue the growth. So I set the career goals and I achieve them. So I perceive the progress and self-improvement and self-development. And emotional self-awareness, it is about understanding, first of all, recognizing the emotions. Secondly, understanding where they come from. Understanding your triggers, but not only that, and moreover, to be able to realize how my emotions impact myself and others. So that is what includes the emotional self-awareness. And over here, we brought up some examples of how those scales may look like in different individuals. And I would like your inputs now, since you understand what is self-regard and actualization, emotional self-awareness. So maybe you get some ideas what might be going on, especially in the first top, when there is a self-regard is at the lower scale, let's say. So maybe we can bring up the context as a leader in a meeting, making a decision, or working with his team.
Of course. Usually, individuals with a low self-regard, leadership style they are working with, right?
Yeah, drop in the chat. So I can also add when we have a lower scale of self-regard, we can get curious about the self-esteem, and the self-esteem also connected to adds to the confidence and the courage. And in psychology, the studies they show that when there is a lower level of the self-esteem, then individuals they may have avoidant behavior. So, for example, in the leadership with a lower self-regard, such a leader might feel uncomfortable being vulnerable and act as the leader must know all the answers. And when making a decision, maybe not sharing with the team or not involving the team in decision making and making decision on his own. And it could show up as or come across as defensive and lower collaboration, I would say, because uncomfortable expressing vulnerability, and that's come. And how it may come across, show up at home, that in a conflict may also perceive an avoidant behavior. So this is when the self-regard on a lower scale. Did anyone experience or may guess how else the low level of self-regard may show up at work? Maybe someone faced the situations. Let's see,
Yeah, you
maybe.
can look at that and let us know if you face something like this and if you can relate to something. It can be even outside work, maybe around some friends and a conflict or anything, because it's very important to look into this and see how would it be,
Yeah. Drop
right?
in the chat. Yes, maybe another situation. Self-actualization is could be on a lower level. Or we have someone in the chat.
Yep.
Second guessing yourself, end up make the wrong decision. Yeah, exactly. This could be absolutely. Thank you, Rahaf.
All right. And then looking or starting from the self-perception, of course, since you have an image or you have a look at yourself, this is when you self-express your emotions. That take us to the second component.
Yes, it takes about the self-expression. That's my favorite because this one I myself had to work on this. So self-expression, remember like using this information now, we already understand ourselves, we understand our different emotions, triggers, where we come from, we understand our motivations and we have the drive. So how we then, using all this information, come across and show up to the world. So it includes the emotional self-expression. However, the balance, the emotional self-expression, how we can express our feelings in a constructive way, without being dramatic, right? That includes also assertiveness, and assertiveness includes about how we can stand to what we believe in as well in a constructive way. So how we can disagree, how we can bring up our own opinion and our own ideas in a very constructive way as well. And third one is independence. Independence is being able to take on the responsibilities, working independently or with minimum supervision as well. So I would like to invite you to look at the lower example where the assertiveness is 81 and emotional expression is 63. So we clearly see that there is something going on with emotional expression. Yeah, and I'd like to invite you, maybe you came across any situation, if you can relate to, where a leader may not express um, how he feels about different situations.
Yeah, because when assertiveness and emotional expression is low, it definitely reflects and shows how would the leader react in some sort, a certain situation, right? Especially when the independence is high. And here as well, it is important to mention well here, it's about how you free your emotional dependency, right? Sometimes I give an example about that. Some people depend on some situations or some triggers to change their feelings instead of work around their emotions, by themselves. Some people, if they feel, for example, sad or stressed or, annoyed, they feel that they need to work or be with around people who will change that for them. So they wouldn't be able to work on it by themselves, whereas some other people just maybe go for a walk and everything can be magical, right? So that's as well. So if you have any situation around that, or if you remember or you can relate to that, you can drop it in the chat as we're moving forward. And then we can actually look into this and relate it to some real-time scenarios.
One of
Right now.
the real scenarios that come to my mind is about giving the feedback. So based on conversations with some leaders that I had recently, it's also the giving the feedback. For example, like how do you express that someone did a great job with the report? So having given this, expressing your emotion, like I really love that what you did yesterday with the client and how you delivered the presentation. That was amazing. And just to demonstrate what Koussay said earlier about the balance, and so also the giving or expressing, especially the positive emotions, it can contribute into the someone's self-regard improvement. So emotional expression is not only about expressing negative emotions, but also about how you can express about the positive in terms of the reward and recognition and acknowledgement as well. So that it can bring the balance into the other areas of someone's emotional intelligence, like self-regard, for example. So Laura here mentioned in the chat shared, assertiveness is an interesting one, probably the one I have developed most with even just growing older, disagreeing constructively. Yeah, so saying no, by the way, it is like we need to learn, right? Thank you, Laura. That's beautiful. Like sharing the chat, maybe so also I would love to learn from you, like uh, what are the ways and to say know or disagree with someone. So if you have any specific beautiful messages, how you put it but together. Also, Lana shared sometimes not being transparent also with others or about things would create confusion for the whole team. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sometimes when someone is struggling, would you like to add here, Kusai?
Of course, clarity and transparency is important, especially when you're working with a team. It is very important to work on that. As Rahaf said as well, when employees want to express that they want to grow in the company, for example, asking for a promotion, asking for more responsibility. Yes, being assertive is important. This is tackle about the assertiveness again, right? It's asking about what you really want. And actually, me and Julia, we prepared some fun things in a few that we will be showing you some real cases on how would, assertiveness or a scenario about communication would work with that. So stay tuned for this again. Now, from self-expression, of course, now you're expressing yourself, so it means interpersonal will start, right? So interpersonal skills is about building and maintaining relationship. It include interpersonal relationships, empathy, social responsibility. Where interpersonal relationship is creating meaningful and supportive connection with others. Empathy is about understanding and valuing others' emotion. And then social responsibility is more about contributing to the well-beings of other and being part of a community. And it all work as well together. Now, why interpersonal matter as a component? It drives collaboration with the teamwork. It enhances relationship through empathy and understanding, and of purpose and social connection. So interpersonal skills are like the heart of a leadership and collaboration. They enable us to build stronger teams, resolving conflicts, and connect with a deeper level, right? And I see that Wiam was saying like 100% transparency might not be good in every situation. Well, it's transparency should be there, and it's a core value that can be run within creating teams and working with teams. But instead of saying about the 100% transparency here, maybe it's something about what need to be shared and what not to be shared, right? So in a leadership position, it depends on what's happening and what things can be shared with the team, or some things can be critical and can be set back a little bit. So it depends. Now, looking again into the interpersonal, as you see the examples here, the top part example from a report that had someone with a low empathy and as well interpersonal relationship, where the other example shows high interpersonal relationships, higher empathy and higher social responsibility. Looking into this as well, I want you to think of how would it feel like working with a leader, I would say, with low empathy? Can you relate to any scenarios or any situations that maybe you thought about a leader with a low empathy or you've seen one? And how would that make you feel being a part or being with someone from the team with that? Yulia, did you encounter any of these, having someone with a low empathy?
I would say now as I'm reflecting, I every time I had a greater and greater leader example, and what came to my mind maybe when you have a leader with empathy, then you understand the difference. perhaps. And I had a great example of leaders with empathy, and that makes me felt more motivated. I think that it impacted my self-actualization. So coming back to self-perception, my self-actualization went higher when my leader was empathetic. So I wanted to perform and grow within the organization and follow the leader. So that would be an example.
Definitely. And as Rahab said, I like what you said, like definitely low employee engagement, right? Of course, when I don't have an empathetic leader, why would I interact? And that give exactly what Razan as well said, which is low motivation. People around this leader will be low motivated, actually not even motivated to contribute or even to work, right?
Yeah.
If my leader doesn't know or doesn't even understand how would it feel to or he understand my feeling that I'm passing through, that it can be really an issue. Laura said as well here, I think that leaders has to be able to be empathetic, because if they are not, they lack from fundamental piece of understanding their team. Exactly, absolutely right. And you cannot judge on employee performance sometime if you don't understand what's the cause of that. Sometimes it's when you feel that there are low motivation and something happening, you need to just work around and see what's happening around with them. Every employee has his own objective. The greater leader shall have empathy to align the employee personal objective with the organization. Exactly. Very well said. So, uh, this is how it should be. You need to work on understanding your team and aligning them as well to the greater good, which is the objective for all of them to succeed. And yes, Raf, that's actually what I wanted just to share. Actually, it's some leaders might think about empathy, being empathy, like showing empathy, is about weakness, which is very, it's very wrong actually to look into this. And we usually notice this when I coach leaders with low empathy. This is exactly what they say. They say, I don't want to show or like being seen in front of my team as a weak leader, which is very, this is where we start to work on and let them understand how empathy can be a very strong tool actually to show the opposite, to show leader to move forward and grow your team together. Now, when we look into when you look, you should come. Well, Yulia, I think we need to look to Razan and see where she is, so we can help her, coach the leader she's around. Well, when we talk about interpersonal, relations here, and we're talking about this component exactly, having in mind that already we had self-expression and we had self-perception, that take us to decision making, right? So basically, when I am interacting with others, some decisions, some sort, it have to come. So decision making is about using emotionally effectively to make the choice when there is, including problem solving, reality testing, and impulse control. Basically, problem solving here, it's about approaching challenges rationally and emotionally. Reality testing, it will be about assessing situations objectively and accurately, if looking into the facts before, having a decision. And impulse control about resisting the impulse and delaying, gratification when needed, which is as well very important. We'll see it in some sort of an examples that it will come. Since most of the time I deal with general activities, a leader with low empathy would create tension and low esteem by always. Yes, this is one of the side effects. Absolutely right, Lana, Do you think taking decision emotionally is good for business? No, but what we're talking about here is it's a combination between the impulse control, reality testing, and problem solving, right? And it's not about looking into how would emotions affect how you are deciding. It's about finding the solutions when emotions are involved. So this is where it's important. Looking into a decision within the business, it's about how would we be able to separate these two and taking the decision based on what's going on. That's why reality testing is very important. And this is where impulse control. What do you think, Yulia, about this question? Because it's very important to look into.
What came to my mind is to, as you said, to separate two things. One is about the skill, making the decision effectively when the emotions involved, and taking separately emotions. Because emotional intelligence, once again, it's a skill. It's not the emotions. It's about how we use information about what we know about self, how we express, build the relationships, and how we use all this information about our emotions. Um, and to make effective decisions. And yeah, basically, idea about the emotional intelligence is having the scales in balance. For example, like here as an example, reality testing is high, but impulse control is low. So, for example, when there is such an imbalance, what do you think may may happen over here?
Yes, if you share with us, what do you think might happen when an low impulse control is there within a leader who's making a decision? As well, thinking of this, why does it matter when we look into decision making as a component? Because it helps make thoughtful, more informed decision. It promotes clear and logical thinking under pressure and reduce rash actions and enhance emotional regulations, right? So effective decision making require us to balance logic with emotions. And this is what's important. This is ensure that we act in a way aligned with our values and goals. And that's the greater good, right? Now, of course, thinking about decisions and talking about decision making, that's take us to one component which is really linked to that, which is stress management, right? Because stress management is about staying resilient, which include flexibility, which is adapting to change in a new situation. Stress tolerance, which is managing stress effectively without becoming overwhelmed. And then optimism, which is maintaining a positive outlook even in difficult times. And these three components are working together for, uh, uh, how would it involve coping mechanism during challenging situations, right? So I see some activities on the chat. So yeah, can we say that emotion part of decision shall be limited to the communication of decide, not making it? Um, I would still say that emotional part of a decision not being limited, but it have to be balanced. As I said, you need to balance the logic with the emotions. So this is where the trick can be, right? So instead of saying limiting or limited to communication, I would say it's have to be balanced or with logic. Making decision when you are angry is wrong as making decision when you are extremely happy. Exactly, absolutely right. Usually, they say when you are in the extreme side of any emotion, better not to make a decision and better not to wait till the next day to take a decision. For example, receiving an email which is make you very angry, don't reply to that. Sleep on it. and reply the next day, or give it some time if it's urgent before you reply, or consult at that time someone or a mentor before replying to the email. So something like that. The same happen when you are extremely happy. That's why all the people when they do and the marketing people when they want to promote a lot of things, and make good sales, it's always when everyone is happy, right? And this is when it's linked to events, either Eid, Christmas, New Year, right? This is when the greater sales happen.
But what
Um,
if that's a good point. I like that you also, what I'm hearing, because you shared just now this some of the strategies how you can deal with in decision making when there are emotions involved. So the question would be here to bring up is what some of the strategies you can use in your decision making, and that can help you to make an effective decision. So I would say that there is no rule for all. There are so many different strategies, and usually when we work with the clients, and we can try different or identify what works for them. So it's more individual based. And there are some situations, like let's say you are working in emergency in a hospital. So and of course there are some emotional stress, as we are looking at the stress right now. So how under the stress and knowing, okay, now I know about my stress, I know where it comes from. So how, but right now I have to make a decision. So usually what helps the doctors is that because they already know the protocol of their actions, what they do in this and that situation. So it doesn't mean that they don't get stressed. They do have the feeling of the stress. They do have the emotions and feelings. However, they just are able to make the decisions because they were already trained and already prepared. So this is one of the examples of the model. And ideally to look at individually and build your own strategy and find what works for you. So even under having the emotions, understanding, remember coming back to self-regard, knowing what you feel, where it comes from, and then to make decisions effectively. Yeah.
Absolutely right. And that as well take us again to the stress management, because when you are in the cycle of decision making, of course, there it will be linked to some decisions, some stress. And this is when we look into how flexible are you, how the stress tolerance is, and it's all linked to optimism, right? Because life is unpredictable, but stress management equipped us with handling change, setbacks, and uncertainty with resilience and optimism. That's why it's a very important component to look into here. Um, and I think it will be more clear now if we take them through the next activity. What do you think, Julia?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So we wanted to demonstrate you in action how it looks like, and we would like to invite you to observe and share in the chat what are your observation about the emotional intelligence competences. So we are going to play a role, Koussay and I, and just observe us and comment what do you see, what competences, high or low emotional intelligence. But before we jump into that, we have from Reem in the chat, in some certain situation, the stress level might increase dramatically. What strategies we can use to control our decisions and cope with the stress? That's a great question, by the way. I love it. And since we have also, we are not alone. So, how about we enrich our conversation around the strategies during stress with everyone? Could everyone please share your tips and tricks?
Yeah, how would you consult WIAM if you are all coaches? What would you sell? What would you tell WIAM at this point?
Let's say we mentor each other. We are all need to make decisions under the stress. What do you find effective? What works for you? Uh,
Yes.
because today we
So
have such a audience with such a wealth of experience, I'm sure. I would like to learn as well from you all.
of course. So Find stress relief in other parts of life than just work. All right. Yes. I know, Laura, you can relate to a few of them. We had that discussion before. I remember sports is something. Iman, take a break from the place, have a deep breath, do something else, then get back to it. Yep, that's that's very nice. You know, for me, for example, go for a walk. I stay calm if I'm stressed. How would you do that, Razan? If you can just give us more. Laura, as in have a good basis, sports, hikes, yeah, quality time, whatever charges you. Exactly. From my side, I find that, disconnect and go either, camping or diving. Uh, it just helped me very well to do that. I have take a few minutes to be alone, breathe, exercise to calm your nervous system. And if you have time, self-reflect, maybe journaling and stuff. So yes, absolutely. Lana, play with the cat absolutely would change your definitely. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, it
This
would
is
be a
nice.
video.
Yeah, cats is lovely. I can share, so from my knowledge about the stress. So first of all, about the physiology or of the stress. The signs of the stress is like, first of all, your heart rate will jump up because your brain will need more oxygen. And the role is of the heart, one of the roles is to pump the blood and put it all up. And the role of the blood flow is to deliver some more oxygen to your brain. And so when your heart rate is high, beating fast, as many of our audience already shared, breathing, the deep breath is the first and the fastest way you can try to regulate your feeling of stress. So deep breath inhale and very slow exhale. That's how it helps to first aid your nervous system. And the secondly, many what I'm hearing share the petting the cat, going for a walk and hike, and that is the how you can maintain your nervous system is also looking at the quality of sleep. And because during the sleep our body recovers, and we can look at the exercise and the overall physical well-being, because sometimes when I'm sleepy, I'm more sensitive and more vulnerable to stress. So what we can do in order to reduce our vulnerability to stress and reactivity to stress, and then during the stress, the first the breathe, and I think we can keep this conversation going, and we can connect, by the way, one-on-one. Happy to chat more if you would like to work or to explore more ways of how you would like to make more effective decisions and regulating stress in the moment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let us start with our first scenario here, and this is where I we want you basically to guess what is the emotional intelligence component that's being demonstrated here, and try to guess which one is high, which one is low. Is it assertive? Is it flexibility, problem solving, and so on? All right. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I am. Let's go.
All right, perfect. So we are looking into a scenario here where it's in a workplace and there is a missed deadline. So let's see how would that conversation go. All right, well, thanks for coming in, Yulia. I wanted to discuss the missed deadline for the project. I know that is not easy to talk about that, but it's important that we address it together. How are you feeling about the situation?
I feel so terrible by myself, and now I'm feeling I'm a terrible and professional, to be honest, and I'm not good enough. I'm not made for this job, and I know the team was counting on me, and I let everyone down, and I just got overwhelmed with the workload of the project. It was so much, and yeah, I just didn't speak up in time.
I appreciate your honesty, Yulia, and I understand how overwhelmed it can feel when work pile up. It's not easy to manage everything, especially under pressure. But it's also important for us to find ways to prevent this from happening in the future. What do you think could you have done differently to avoid this?
Oh my gosh, I could just perhaps resign and let you hire someone else. Because I'm so terrible. But okay, let me have a second thought. I think I should have communicated earlier when I realized that everything was falling behind and um I was just trying to push through on my own. I just wanted to be committed and demonstrated that I can do that. But I think that playing back in time, I should have communicated that that was too much for me, and I was missing. I needed some extra help over here. Yeah, I could do
Well,
also prioritizing tasks better as well.
Well, quitting is not an option here for us with the team, Yulia, and we value having you as a member. Now, but that's a good reflection as well on communication, because communication is a key and it's a value within our team, and it's okay to ask for help when you need it, right? Let's work on a plan to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Maybe we can set regular check-ins during the big projects, and I can help you prioritize tasks if needed. How would that sound?
That sounds amazing, Kusai. And honestly, now I feel a little better about myself since we had this conversation. And I appreciate you created a safe space right now and you didn't judge me. And I appreciate that you offer the support to progress in my career. And I feel committed. And I promise I'll do my best now. I'm super grateful that you didn't judge me. So now I'm feeling much more motivated to continue and doing my best at work.
I'm glad to hear that. We all face challenges, and what matters is how we learn and grow from them. Let's move forward for this plan, and I am here to support you at every step along the way. All
Much
right.
either. Thank you.
So, what do you think? Two characters here. What's happening? Which one of the components were high or up or the low? What did you notice? I see Razan was writing depressed. Who is depressed? From Yulia, emotion expression was high. All right. That's a
Yeah,
nice reading.
emotional expression was high. Yes, empathy, Kusai. Exactly. Empathy was so high.
Yeah. Razan, you supported her. Yes, that's support as well. I do have to go. Okay. Yulia character a bit impressively and oversharing. Like, yes. Either.
Impulsiveness, yes. Like,
Yes. Iman, the leader, is emphasizing assertiveness, problem solving, confident and flexible, showing empathy, situation focused, asking for okay. Very nice. I think we have a lot of coaches.
yeah, that's
Very,
amazing. Yeah.
very well. So, where do you see the emotional intelligence making a biggest difference here in this scenario? Oh, well, Razan answered immediately. Well, you listened to her. So listening, right? Listening was a very important and as well to play around this scenario. And as you all agreed, empathy was there and problem solving. Understanding and not being judgmental. Yes, that's very important. Absolutely right, Iman. I like that.
So we can see the connection between the empathy also and interpersonal relationships because we strengthened. What we might also recognize the self-regard. So the person could lower the self-esteem and confidence. And by the end of the communication, because the leader expressed the empathy, it improved the interpersonal relationships. Also, the self-regard went upper, and also self-actualization, doing best at work went also upper. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Let's show them the second scenario, and then we move towards, uh, almost the end of this session, right?
Yeah.
All right. So in this scenario, it is something that every home asks, and everywhere you have this difficult question, what's for dinner? Right? Let's see how with that conversation goes. And again, we would like you to notice what are the components that are being played here. Here we go. I think we should make pasta for dinner. It's quickly, easy, and I am really in the mood for it. Let's just do that.
I hear you. Pasta sounds good. But I was actually thinking about how about trying the new stir fry recipe? So, well, we saw that online some time ago. So, what do you think about that?
No, I don't think I want stir fry. I said I want pasta. Why don't we always why do we have complicated things? Let's just stick with the what we know. It's easy, pasta, and that's it.
Okay, I'm hearing here you have yeah, you are in the mood, specific mood. I do totally understand. You want to have pasta, but I was really excited to try something new. And maybe we can find a way about like win-win situations over here where you can be happy and I could be also remain excited.
I don't know. Can we just do pasta?
All right. Um, how about this? Okay, I'm saying this. We are making pasta. Let's close the chat, and tomorrow we can plan to try this stir fry then.
Well, pasta tonight, and let's see what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, fine, all right, but let's see how I feel tomorrow. Not sure.
All right. So I can see people started already putting in. So negative and not accepting new things. Yep. And that's if we need to put that in the component, which component do you think that is, Razan? Lana, not being open to change or trying something. So what do you think? If we talk about flexibility, assertiveness, what do you think? Not accepting other perspective or taking it into consideration. Right. Not flexible. No, say feeling, flexibility, problem solving. All right. So Yulia acknowledged my feelings and she had flexibility of problem solving. How did you read Yulia at the end? Do you think she was happy? No? I thought she wanted pasta at the
Right. Surely no.
end.
Yeah, we can share that. Definitely, that was a no, and for sure, at the end, I was lacking the self emotional expression, I would say, because I didn't deliver like in a constructive way.
See, you can read from Qusay's behavior that there was an assertiveness, right? And assertiveness somehow it can be okay. It can be balanced. It can be, all right, this is what I want today, all right, maybe it is. And the nice thing that Yulia was putting through is the problem solving on how, okay, let's find a solution then. And this is where she proposed, okay, we can do pasta today and then tomorrow stir fry. So these two. Not open to trying new things, not flexible, not being empathetic. Yeah, bad guy here.
Yeah. That's amazing. So we can already now spot on different components and skills of emotional intelligence, and that's amazing to see by the end of this webinar. And it's impressive. Well done. So yeah, now it takes us to the closure of our webinar, of our session. Time flies. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, with these wonderful people. So if there is something that you would like to develop and work on, would you rather improve your emotional self-awareness or empathy?
Or drop your option in the chat.
Yes, or maybe something else. Iman, self-awareness. All right.
Self-awareness. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay.
Self-aware. You need to be self-aware to be empathetic.
Hmm. Yeah. And actually that as well take us to self-awareness is the beginning. Correct. So basically you can start working on your self-awareness because this is what it will help you to, work towards the rest.
I'll stop sharing my screen at this step as we came to an end.
So basically, if we need just to quickly look into the key takeaways. So we discuss about emotional intelligence and how it is the ability to recognize and manage emotions in yourself and others, and the components that it consists of. So basically, self-perception, self-expression, interpersonal decision-making, and stress management. And we talk about how does it impact other aspects between personal relationships to professional success. So emotional intelligence is not a destination, but a journey. I like this saying. As we continue to lead and thrive series, we will be delving deeper into how to measure and use the shape of effective, leadership in the future. We will talk about different things as well. Till that happen, Julia.
Yes, so we are going to, if you can drop in the chat, if you would be interested in receiving some maybe exercises on some specific elements of emotional intelligence, we are happy to send you just absolutely free of charge along with the recording to our session today. Just drop in the chat plus so we can see if there is interest. Yeah, interested? Yeah, for sure. Okay, great. Definitely, we have some exercises to share and to also announce on the February 11th in 2 weeks' time. Also, it will be Tuesday, 8 p.m. To 8:30 p.m. Dubai time, 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. KSA time, Bahrain time. We are going to have a series or the next series about the self-perception. This is where we will go much deeper into the self-regard, self-actualization, intrinsic motivation, and self-development and emotional self-awareness. So mark your calendars, and we will announce on LinkedIn with a new registration link. Just remember and join us for the next session on February 11th. It will be just half an hour. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you for being part of the journey. Remember, every step in building emotional intelligence is a step towards thriving in life and leadership. Thank you. I appreciate you and looking forward to see you. Iman, if you drop your email, if we don't have if you guys drop your email now in the chat, and I will make sure that we will be sending you all the data moving forward. All right.
Thank you very much, Lana. Thank you, everyone.